June 12th, 1943. Eastern France near the Vosges forest. Rain streaks down the side of a Panzerkampfwagen 6 Tiger as it rumbles through the mud. Inside, Feldwebel Otto Kramer wipes fog from the periscope lens and grins at his crew. "Another Sherman," he mutters in his thick Saxon accent. "Ronson lighter, lights every time." The gunner, Hans Dietrich, laughs. "Let's see if it burns as well as the last one." Their Tiger, number 231, with its 88mm KWK-36 gun, had already sent 4 American Shermans to their graves that morning. Each hit was followed by a flash, then a plume of smoke curling into the gray French sky. To the Germans, the M4 Sherman was a joke, a boxy, high-profile machine with thin armor that caught fire when struck. The crews nicknamed it after a cigarette lighter brand, Ronson, lights every time. And early on, they weren't wrong. The Tiger's thick armor, up to 120mm at the front, laughed off most Sherman rounds. American 75mm shells pinged harmlessly like pebbles on steel. Inside their Panzers, German crews felt untouchable, invincible. Kramer's Tiger crests a ridge. Below, an American column inches along a dirt road, 5 Shermans in formation, their turrets scanning nervously. "Target, second tank," says Dietrich, adjusting the sight. The breech slams shut. The recoil shakes the turret. The 88mm shell crosses 800 meters in a blink. The second Sherman erupts in flame. The crew barely has time to bail before ammunition cooks off, sending a pillar of fire into the rain. Kramer smirks, lighting a cigarette. See, always lights. In 1943, the battlefield belonged to the Tiger. Its armor, its gun, and its mystique ruled Europe. But across the Channel, British engineers were already sketching something that would change the balance, something that would make men like Otto Kramer stop laughing. They called it the Sherman Firefly. December 2nd, 1943. Lulworth Gunnery Range, Dorset, England. The wind howls across the English coast, whipping through the open hatches of a squat olive-green tank parked beside the firing line. A small team of engineers from the Royal Armored Corps crowds around it, their breath steaming in the cold. Major George Brightman pulls his scarf tighter and turns to a young officer holding a clipboard. "Lieutenant, if this works, we'll have the answer to the bloody Tigers." Lieutenant John G.W. Vaughan, his boots caked with mud, nods and taps the side of the gun barrel, a massive piece of steel nearly as long as the tank itself. 17 pounds of solid hell, sir. This was no ordinary Sherman. The British had taken the American M4 chassis and crammed in their most powerful anti-tank weapon, the Ordnance QF 17-pounder. It wasn't easy. The gun was far longer and bulkier than anything the Sherman was designed for. The recoil would have snapped the turret ring in half. The breech was so large it barely fit, forcing engineers to turn it sideways just to load a round. Ammunition racks had to be rebuilt from scratch. The radio was shoved into an armored box on the turret's rear, the now iconic bustle. But somehow, impossibly, it worked. "Ready!" the loader shouts, sliding in a long 17-pounder shell, a steel dart capable of punching through over 150 millimeters of armor at 1,000 meters. "Fire!" the gun roars. A blinding muzzle flash bursts from the barrel, echoing off the cliffs. The recoil rocks the entire hull, but the target, a captured Tiger plate, splinters and cracks. Brightman lowers his binoculars slowly. "By God," he murmurs, "we've just killed a Tiger." The prototype was rough, unreliable, awkward to reload, and dangerously conspicuous with that long barrel. But to the British, it was a revolution. They had finally built a tank that could destroy Germany's monsters at range. By spring 1944, production ramped up under tight secrecy. Only 1 in 4 Shermans in British armored units would be converted to Fireflies. The rest remained standard models to confuse German spotters. Each Firefly crew was trained to wait, hide, ambush, and strike from cover. They would be the snipers of the tank world. Vaughan scribbles in his notebook as the team reloads. "If we're lucky," he says, "the next time a Tiger crew laughs, it'll be their last." June 10th, 1944. Near Villers-Bocage, Normandy. The air smells of wet earth and cordite. The hedgerows, thick, tangled walls of green, make every turn a blind corner. Somewhere ahead, a tiger is prowling. Sergeant James Jimmy Harris, commander of a British Sherman Firefly from the Sherwood Rangers Yeomanry, peers through his binoculars from behind a smashed farmhouse wall. The invasion has begun, but the advance inland has turned into a grinding nightmare. "Keep her low, lads," he whispers to his crew. "Tigers about." The driver, Corporal Evans, edges the tank forward, its massive 17-pounder gun brushing leaves as they crawl into position. Inside, sweat drips down foreheads despite the cool morning. Every creak of the turret sounds like thunder in the cramped steel coffin. Across the field, through the haze of smoke and mist, a shape moves. Angular, heavy, unmistakable. A Tiger Line, number 222 of the 101st SS Heavy Panzer Battalion. "Target spotted," the gunner Lance Corporal Miller murmurs. "Range? 800 meters. Loaded? APCBC. Ready." Harris breathes in slowly. "Hold, let him show his flank." The Firefly sits still as the Tiger turns its turret toward another column of Shermans moving down the lane, unaware of the predator waiting in the hedges. The German crew inside 222 is confident, relaxed. Their commander, Oberfeldwebel Franz Schmidt, smirks as he lines up his next kill. "Sherman convoy, easy meat," he says. "Prepare to fire." He never sees it coming. "Fire!" The Firefly's gun erupts in a thunderclap that rolls across the countryside. The 17-pounder shell streaks through the air and punches clean through the Tiger's side armor. The German tank jerks violently, belching black smoke. "Hit! Target's burning!" Miller shouts. Through the gun sight, Harris watches Schmidt's Tiger erupt in flames, its crew scrambling from the hatches as the ammunition cooks off. The myth of the invincible Tiger shatters in that moment. Nearby infantry cheer, unaware of what weapon did it. Just that, for once, the fire was on their side. Harris leans back, exhaling hard. "Well, Jimmy boy," he mutters to himself, "guess we're the ones lighting 'em now." The Firefly reverses into cover, disappearing back into the hedgerows. The crew reloads, their hands shaking, not from fear, but from disbelief. They had done the impossible. Word spreads fast across Allied lines. The tank that could kill a Tiger had arrived. From then on, wherever the Firefly appeared, German crews were told, if it has a long barrel, kill it first. The hunters had become the hunted. July 18th, 1944. Near San Normandy, Operation Goodwood. The plains east of San tremble under the thunder of over 1,000 Allied tanks. Dust and smoke rise into a choking haze as British armor pushes against the German lines. The earth quivers with every shell that lands. Inside his Tiger II, Hauptmann Ernst Barkmann wipes grime from his goggles and squints into the chaos. His radio crackles. Another report of Shermans moving in the open. He sneers. "Shermans," he mutters, "always burning." But as he scans the horizon, something catches his eye. A Sherman, yes, but different. Its barrel is far too long, the muzzle brake flaring like the jaws of a cannon. "Firefly," his gunner warns. Barkmann's confidence falters for the first time. He orders the driver to reverse into cover. The duel begins. Across the hedgerow, the Firefly of Lieutenant John Phillips, 13th 18th Royal Hussars, has already spotted the massive Tiger II lumbering into position. Phillips steadies his voice over the intercom. "Steady, boys. Wait for him to turn." The Tiger's turret begins to swing, its massive 88mm searching for them. The Firefly's loader jams a sabot round into the breech. "Range, 1,100 meters," the gunner whispers. Phillips exhales. "Send it." The Firefly bucks as the 17-pounder roars. The shot screams across the open field, slamming through the Tiger's glacis at an oblique angle. Sparks explode off the armor, but it holds. "Bounce!" the loader shouts. The Tiger fires back. The 88mm round whistles past, tearing through a tree line with a crack that shakes the Firefly's hull. "Adjust left. 50 meters. Aim lower. Hit his track!" Phillips commands. The gunner corrects, fires again. This time the shell finds its mark. The Tiger lurches, track shattered, immobilized. Its turret whines as it tries to traverse, but too slowly. A third round, straight into the turret ring. A burst of fire erupts from the Tiger's hatches. The crew bails, running for the ditch as ammunition ignites behind them. Phillips lowers his binoculars, eyes wide. "That's a king tiger," he breathes. "God help me, we just killed one." Reports like this begin to flood Allied channels. The Firefly, once doubted, mocked for its awkward look, is rewriting the rules of tank warfare. But victory comes at a cost. Because the Firefly's long barrel makes it easy to spot, German gunners now target it first. Crews paint the end of the barrel white, or camouflage it with foliage, hoping to disguise their deadliest weapon. The Firefly has become both a sword and a target. In hedgerows and villages, across wheat fields and ruined streets, these duels continue. A brutal chess match fought in seconds, where the difference between life and death is who sees who first. By August 1944, the British and American Fireflies are the silent assassins of Normandy. German tank crews no longer laugh when they see a Sherman, they panic. And in letters found on dead Panzermen, one line repeats again and again, open quote, "Beware the long gun." Close quote, September 3rd, 1944, near Mons, Belgium. The dawn mist drifts low over the fields as the remnants of the 2nd Panzer Division retreat eastward. Their engines cough and sputter, fuel nearly gone. The once mighty Tiger columns are now shadows of their former selves, a few survivors limping home through chaos. Among them, Feldwebel Otto Kramer, the same man who once laughed at burning Shermans, sits in his battered Tiger, number 231, now scarred and blackened. His hands tremble on the periscope grips. Every sound makes him flinch. "Movement! Left flank!" his gunner shouts. Kramer snaps the scope around. Through the swirling fog, a shape appears, a Sherman, camouflaged in mud and leaves, its gun impossibly long. He feels his stomach drop. Verdammt! Firefly! The British tank sits motionless at the edge of the field. The crews stare at one another across 600 meters of open ground. Hunter and hunted equals for the first time. Inside the Firefly, Sergeant Jimmy Harris adjusts his sight. It's been 3 months since Normandy, and his crew has learned the rhythm of this deadly dance. Target, Tiger. Bearing 270. Loader? Up. Range? 600, sir. Harris whispers, "Make it count." The gunner squeezes the trigger. The 17-pounder's recoil slams into the turret. The shell slices through the fog and punches through the Tiger's lower plate. Inside 231, Kramer feels the impact before he hears it. A blast tears through the crew compartment, heat and smoke filling the air. Flames lick the ammunition racks. He screams to bail out, but it's too late. From Harris's scope, the Tiger erupts in orange light. The same fire Kramer once mocked now devours his tank. The crew sits in silence. No cheers, no shouts, just the steady hiss of burning fuel. "Poor bastards," Harris mutters. "They never stood a chance." He doesn't know who is inside, only that one more Tiger won't be firing back. By autumn of 1944, the Sherman Firefly had earned its reputation. In the hands of British, Canadian, and Polish crews, it destroyed countless Tigers and Panthers across France, Belgium, and Holland. It was the equalizer, the tank that forced the feared Panzer divisions into retreat. The German propaganda of invincible armor faded fast. Even SS ace Michael Wittmann, the legend of Villers-Bocage, met his end at the hands of a Firefly near Saint-Aignan-de-Cramesnil. What began as a cruel joke, a Ronson lighter that always lights, ended in a grim reversal. Because by 1944, it wasn't the Shermans that lit up the battlefield, it was the Tigers. As Harris's Firefly rolls past the smoking wreck, the sun breaks through the morning haze, glinting off the long barrel, the symbol of a new era in tank warfare. The laughter that once echoed from German turrets has gone silent, replaced by the low rumble of Allied armor advancing east, unstoppable, relentless. The Firefly had done its job, and the men who drove them had proven something far greater than steel or firepower. They had proven that courage and ingenuity could turn the tide, even against the mightiest machines of war.